everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Alphabet of Hair, or my Alphabet of Hair, should we say. Basically, today we are going to be looking at the letter C. And the letter C today stands for curly hair, like mine. So we're going to be looking at curly hair, curl control, why we have curly hair, how to handle curly hair, and just basically as much info as I can give you about curls. Okay, so the first question is, why do we end up with curly hair? Well, genetics play one of the biggest parts in why we have curly hair, although there isn't a single specific gene that has yet to be found to be solely responsible for either curly or straight hair. The part of the skin that a strand of hair emerges from is called the follicle. This is also a bit responsible for curls because it determines both the shape of the hair and also the angle that it grows at. An asymmetrical follicle, where it's either curved or hooked like the letter J, even though we're doing the letter C, causes curvature, leading to an oval-shaped strand, and this grows at a sharper angle and appears curly. So in other words, it's kind of like that. So one's like that, and it does that, and it pushes it and makes it curly. So that's your follicle, although the follicles aren't the only decider though. The distribution of a specific type of keratin also plays a role in creating curly hair. Now, keratins are proteins that make up most of a hair strand. One type of keratin in particular is a bit lopsided in curly hair, bunching up in the curve of the hair itself. So the tight clustering of curls, as you can see like in my hair, means that your scalp's natural oils have a harder time moving down the hair strand, according to scientists. This can lead to all sorts of different problems, which include dry hair, frizz, scalp irritation and dandruff. Because obviously when hair's straight, the oil can just move down. When it's curly, it's got to wind its way around. So how do we cope with curly hair and these problems that I've just listed? Well, first off, using the right shampoos and conditioners is a really good place to start. Products with sulfates, which is a foaming agent, generally are more drying to hair. So I recommend products that are known more as cleansers rather than shampoos. And they either have no sulfate or low sulfates. These are a little different to your regular shampoo. Oh wait, took a deep breath, sharp intake of breath.
I'm leaving that in there.
Yeah. So first off, it's about caring for your hair and getting the best out of it. So let's look at some product recommendations that I think would be really good for curly hair. And some of them I do actually use. So for these product recommendations, I'm going to give you some professional versions and then some high street recommendations because I realise everybody has a different budget. So first, let's look at the pro ones. Ones that I suggest are the Kerastars Curl Ideal Cleansing Conditioner, the Schwarzkopf Mad About Curl, Mad About Waves, and then the Bouclem Curl Cleanser. For the high street recommendations, I would suggest the L'Oreal Elvive Low Shampoo. And that's it. I don't know any others. So that's the care side of curls looked after. Let's look at the styling side, because this is equally as important, actually. When you're styling curly hair, a lot of people always wonder what they should use. Now, I generally tend to recommend more creams than oils. And although there are some really good oils out there, but I find a cream is better because I feel that it sort of dries and makes the hair less wet looking when it's finished. But generally, what I would suggest is a couple of things. Apply some kind of detangling spray if you have one. And then add a cream. I'm going to give some product recommendations afterwards. But apply your cream and make sure you get it all the way through the hair. The thing is with curly hair, it's actually better to start drying it when it feels a little wetter. I wouldn't towel dry your hair too much after you've shampooed it, because the more moisture that you start with, the more defined the curl will be when you're finished. So add the cream and make sure that your hair is a little bit damp to begin with. So then once your cream is, by the way, don't be scared to use product with curly hair. Remember, it's dry, it drinks that cream. So you need to give it as much as possible. But the best thing to do is then once you've got it in, is don't use a comb, try and use your fingers as a comb. And don't use a brush, because a brush will actually start sort of making all each individual hair more separated. A curl is a good looking curl is lots of hairs more sort of bonded together, which is what the cream will do. And then what you want to do is dry that in so the hairs stay more bonded. So basically, get a diffuser if you're in a hurry, tip your hand upside down or backwards and just literally diffuse on a medium heat, medium speed. Don't blast it. The diffuser will stop blowing it all over the place, but just generally let it dry at a sort of slightly slower pace than fast. And then just literally let the curls dry. Try to touch them as little as possible. It's one of the things people always do. They keep trying to put their fingers through it. Even hairdressers do that. But the less you touch it, the better. So just literally diffuse it and let the heat and the air dry itself. If you have enough time, let it air dry. I do that a lot with mine, and then I just sort of ruffle it up afterwards. What will sometimes happen is that the curl will feel a little tiny bit crispy on the edges of your hair. So the best thing to do then is again use your fingers and just literally run your hands through your hair like this. So it just takes that slight crispy edge off. And then what you end up is with defined curls, but it looks like there isn't much product in. And that is one of the tricks, I think, to great looking curly hair looking natural, is that it doesn't look too over producted, if that's a word. So now you've gone and looked up the word producted in the dictionary, because I couldn't be bothered. The other thing that I would suggest is, if you feel like you've got some curls, look, because there are some people's hair, like my sister's for example, hers is curlier on top and sort of softer curls underneath. If you have that problem, sometimes it's quite good to go in with a curling iron and sort of even out the curls a little bit. But again, you just need to wrap the hair around the curling iron and leave it on for about 3-4 seconds just to help define that curl a little bit more. But you don't always have to do that if you don't feel it's necessary. It just depends if you feel your curls are a bit uneven. But find the right size curling iron for your curl. So if your curls are looser, you need a larger curling iron. If your curls are tighter, you need a smaller one. So let's look at some product recommendations for what I think would be really good for curly hair. And like I say, some of these I use myself. So first off, looking at the professional side, I would look at Schwarzkopf Twister Definition Cream, the Davines Love Curl Cream, the Orbe Curl Control Silkening Cream, and the Kerastars Discipline Curl. They're my 4 recommendations. And then for a high street brand, I would recommend the Cantu Coconut Curling Cream, which, don't say that when you've had a couple of sherries, Cantu Coconut Curling Cream. One last thing, if you feel, lots of people with curly hair find that their scalp can be a bit dry, so what I recommend is to rub some oils into the hair. It's quite good to do it at night and sleep in it. You'll have a bit of an oily pillow. You can always shove that in the washing machine. But it's just a good way to sort of get your scalp a bit hydrated. Even if you don't have like a professional hair oil, you can use olive oil, which is actually a really good remedy for dry scalp. So yeah, just one little thing to bear in mind if your scalp's a bit dry. Try not to get the oil into your hair too much though, because again, you might end up with your hair looking a bit more wet looking, which I don't think necessarily, well, you can look a bit 80s. That's all I can say. Maybe you're into 80s, who knows. Anyway, that's it for curly hair. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. If you like this video and want to see more, then you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is here. And you can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, and also Instagram TV.